Hi there. Welcome to A Creative Affair, a collection of conversations exploring creativity through the art of photography and other creative passions. I am Len, an artist from the Blue Mountains in Australia. I love to use my camera as my paintbrush to create art. I'm a bit of an old hippie that loves to wander the bush with my camera. This week I was mistaken for Santa with my long flowing white beard.
And I am Brie. I've been creating all my life, and my current passion is nature and landscape photography. As a life coach for creative people, I help creatives reignite their creative passion and use it to achieve their unique vision in life. And I love rocks and cheese.
Actually, Brie, we both love rocks and cheese, so I'm really pleased that we have this wonderful affair going on here. Today, we're going to talk about what a creative affair is all about, how it came to be, and most importantly, why we created it. Isn't that right?
Yes, we are. Let's go.
Well, we have to start with Matt Payne, don't we? And his podcast is F Stop and Listen.
F Stop, Collaborate and Listen.
F Stop,
like the Vanilla Ice song, only for photography.
I feel like we owe Matt our meeting. I was on there a very long time ago doing a podcast. I think Hillary Younger introduced me to Matt, and it's wonderful to be a part of a long list of the people that he interviewed, and it was one of those times that is so memorable in my life as a wonderful thing to do. Now, how did you come across Matt?
So back in 2019, I made an impossible goal for myself, and it's surrounding photography, but really actually picking up an actual camera. And as part of it, I found Matt's podcast and just started because I was doing a deep dive into the world of landscape photography, and so I just started listening to all his episodes, and consequently, and I actually don't know if you know this because we haven't known each other that long, but I don't know what number it was, but I was on his podcast too.
Ah, yes.
So because I messaged him and said, how about you have a beginner photographer that has a really big goal on? And he said, sure, why not? So shout out to Matt Payne for having both of us on. And then because of that, and I love podcasts in general. I'm always listening to one and feeding my brain. And so I messaged him and said, how about an after party? And he's letting me host these after parties on Clubhouse. And so when you were on because you were on back in 2018, and then he had you on again as part of a mental health panel, correct?
That's right. And I got to be on twice. I think what an honor that is.
Totally. I think two Brians? No, Pesman and...
Yes.
Yes, okay, Brian Robe. I'm going to mess up his last name, so sorry, Brian. But because that was after we had already started doing the after parties, we had all of you guys on and had a fabulous conversation live with all kinds of people. And so after that, you messaged me.
Yeah, and it was an amazing thing to talk to you. I was on the phone, and I was actually wandering around the park. My favourite place to talk on the phone, without distractions. I love to walk and talk. And we were talking about hugging trees and all sorts of wonderful things about our mental health, and it was an absolutely fabulous conversation. And Brie, actually, you said to me, oh, you've got a lovely voice, and you talk about such wonderful things. I could listen to you all day. And for something that it sparked my head, and it went off in this huge creative burst, and and I'm like, oh, it just dawned on me. There's someone that I would like to keep talking to, and part of that talking to is your interest in so much broader things about photography, not about what f-stop we're using or those sort of things, or even what we're pointing our camera at, but the underlying thinking and thought patterns that go on behind things. And I was just so motivated to reach out to you, and I'm so excited that you even considered the idea, let alone getting here today.
Well, I'm kind of a sucker for an accent, so my husband doesn't have one, but you know.
Well, that's a good basis for an affair.
Right. Well, this conversation is fully approved by my husband. Not that he has to approve anything, but as we were talking, because you actually noticed that I am a life coach, and currently I am working with people who are creatives. And what I love doing is helping people with understand the mindset around their creativity and how to help them have more of it. And so as we were talking, we were like, and what's funny is I feel like we're totally different people, like almost complete opposites. And so, and what's fabulous is that we can come together with such similar kind of goals and desires and like passions for what we do, and be able to learn from each other. And we've had a couple of conversations, and then I think it was you that said we should just keep doing this and record it. And so that's what we're doing.
It is
so fun.
Isn't it amazing how that works and how that unfolds? And that's exactly that whole process that we're describing there is the process of creativity, isn't it? And it is what really ties us together, is a deep want, it's an inner drive for both of us to understand our own creative processes, how we're thinking, what's happening in our lives, how do we set ourselves up to be the best creatives we can be, and how can we serve our art in the best possible way. And I think that conversation that we first had in Clubhouse was very much a part of that, is what do we actually do to help feed our creativity? How do we feed our art? How do we really get in there and enjoy and love what we're doing? Now, my background is also in teaching and mentoring people, and that's a very, very similar background and interest, because we're both really, really excited about how people, not only ourselves, but how do other people work, so we can help and support other people grow themselves. And I think when it really boils down to, Brie, both of us have this interest in helping other people understand how to be better creatives and more in touch with their art.
Yeah. And I've learned so much about myself just through my own process. And it's so exciting to be able to not only just share that, but help, I guess, share it and help other people, help others learn from that, but also talk about it in a different way than maybe we have in the past, right? Because, and I think you and I have slightly different philosophies on how to be creative and get more creative. And so I'm really excited for our future conversations. We have a whole list of topics that we're going to cover. What are some of those? We're going to talk about creativity through projects, goals. What else?
Starting things, about our mindset. We're going to talk about flow. We're going to talk about, we hope to talk about all sorts of things, and as ideas come up. Well, you were saying then, how does our art teach us? And understand who we are. I think you've just even mentioned something that I was like, oh, I've got to write that down as a topic for us to talk about, let alone how art heals and makes us understand who we are as people. There's so many different things that we can talk about, and our bent really is about unpacking them. Rather than talking about, where we took beautiful photos, we're really motivated to unpack how we work, and not only me or you, but how others work, and that beautiful thing about difference that you were talking about is so special, isn't it? That we do have different backgrounds, we do have different philosophies, ideas, beliefs, live on the opposite sides of the world. And,
what's an American lady and and an Aussie doing talking to each other?
Well, we're having a creative affair, obviously.
That's right. And we're going to continue to do it over. Well, we don't have a set number of these, by the way. Sorry, I interrupted you, Len. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen in our conversations.
That's right. Get used to it. Shut up. Get used to it. That's what's happening.
And so here's the thing: we don't have a set number of episodes. We might release them on a regular schedule, but because we're creatives, we're just going to leave that up to what we feel like doing. So. But we do know this is a series. Like this won't be. This will be a limited series, right?
Yes.
We haven't decided how many in the series yet because it's continually evolving. Even just like last weekend, we actually changed the name of the podcast. We won't tell you what it was originally, but and like any good creative. I want to say endeavor. I just think it's continually evolving, and that is so fun. And so I can't wait to see how all of this evolves and kind of unravels and comes to be.
Yes, and it's about conversations, isn't it? And exploring and trying to understand, and what a beautiful and healthy thing to be doing, not only for our own practice, but we hope that by sharing this that you as listeners can actually join in the conversation, that we can pose questions to you, that you can join in and have these conversations with yourself, with your friends, with your fellow creatives, with us. Because conversations and thinking about creativity drives us, and it saves us, it motivates us, it drives us along, it teaches us.
Yeah.
It's so special.
Yeah, and I love the daily, it doesn't even have to be daily, but I love feeling inspired on a regular basis. And so I think as part of this, we're going to talk about like practical things that we can do to for our mindset to have creativity, right? Like our attitude, some things that we can think, maybe some things like we're probably going to talk about emotions. I mean, we're creative people. It's what we do, right? And so we're going to talk about all of that. And I think we're going to relate some of our experiences. Like we may talk about where we're photographing, or what we're photographing, but all in the context of how that helped us be creative and that experience, and maybe it was a negative experience and what we learned from it. or a really positive one and what we learned from that, or maybe sharing something that we read or something that we heard from someone, and just all of those things that can contribute to creativity and what that means for us.
Now, Brie, you mentioned you're a life coach, and I want you to explain a little bit more about that to us, because I'm an educator, and teaching people is a very important part of my life and my career. And one of the things I learnt very early on is the importance of taking other people's concepts, often, things from psychology, from education, from business, from leadership studies, from this huge diverse range of ideas, and reframing that into simple everyday language without the big psychology terms or having to understand all that high-browed stuff, but bringing it down to practicalities. And I think that that's something that we both are really passionate about, this simplification and this doing things really, really practically. I've been teaching my whole life, and it's my specialty. And mentoring people, it holds my whole life together. So I see this, our conversation as part of that educational experience, not only for me, not only for you, but for our listeners as well. And I think that that's a shared belief and goal with where your background is too, isn't it?
Yeah, and I love that. I love all of that background that you bring to it. And my role, I don't know if it's a role necessarily, but what I do as a life coach is I help people see, have awareness about what they're thinking and feeling and how that drives them to do what they do. But also, so many times we get stuck on thinking a certain way. And as a coach, I can look at how you're thinking and help you reframe that. And so that I just think there's so much you can see. And even I had one today because I got coached by someone, and I was like, oh, yeah, I see that. And just reframing something in an idea or a thought in a different way that we never even thought of before, to help me personally, right? Because this is about my journey too. When I know when I have a coaching session with someone that I'm like, oh, I have that little aha, yes, I never thought of it like that before. And so that's what I love doing, is saying, hey, have you thought about it like this? Or what if this? And it just turns things around so that we can look at what we're thinking and doing in a different way, and we can get more of that inspiration and creativity that we really want.
Isn't that just so beautiful? And I'm the same. I want to grow. I haven't come here to lecture you or anyone else. I'm interested in pushing myself, and I want to learn. I want to come away from this conversation with new ideas and new ways of thinking. And I'm really interested to explore. And that's where having such a varied backgrounds and differences is so valuable, isn't it? That we can help each other grow. And hopefully for the listeners that they'll get something from this experience for them as well, as we try to unpack and understand the creative process. It's so exciting.
Yeah, and I think we really hope to just have fun too. So Because that's one of the things that I am really working on having. I just want to have, not that I have fun all the time in my life, but I want to have more of it. And creativity, doing what we love creatively is so much fun, right? Like I picture you, Lynn, hugging your trees, just enjoying every single minute of it, right?
And it's exactly right. Why do we spend so much time chasing a creative endeavor if it wasn't fun? And we totally get lost in it, don't we? The rest of our world disappears when we're doing it. And even now, as we're making this, we are having fun because all those other worries have disappeared. We're totally present and focused in this very moment. And that's such an important part of having fun. Having a good laugh and a giggle and making jokes and being a bit silly is very much a part of that. And we balance really, well, I hope we're going to balance heavy, hard topics, lighthearted, and have a joke about them at the same time and enjoy it. What's the point of doing it if we don't enjoy it? So, yes, let's have lots of fun, Brie.
Absolutely. Well, that was fun. And I'm really excited to see what this affair with creativity, where this affair with creativity takes us. So we have a question for all of you. What creative endeavor are you currently having an affair with? And how are you having fun with it? So we invite you to keep the conversation about your creative passion flowing by engaging in conversation with other people, because that's what we want to inspire you to do. Talk with other people, right? Like, instead of like maybe commenting on social media, which is fabulous, right? Let's talk with other people, but also with us. You can email us at create@acreativeaffairpodcast.com. And I also invite you to go to creativemindscoach.com, which is my website, and subscribe to my newsletter. You can get notified when a new episode of this podcast is released. And most importantly, I share ideas. I send you directly to your inbox ideas to help you with your own creative journey. How about you, Lynn?
Oh, wonderful. I have a beautiful quarterly journal that I publish full of creative photography, and it's very much about the photograph rather than the words that go with them, so that you can immerse yourself in art that is created in series. I run photography workshops. I have an online photography school. I mentor people over Zoom and by distance, and I have my own online gallery. And the best place to find me is at lensjournal.com, and from there you can subscribe to my newsletter too, and my magazine, and also find links to my school and to my personal gallery. But most importantly, you can follow us at acreativeaffairpodcast.com, and there we have our show notes and links to our websites, and you can also subscribe to us at all the different podcast hosting sites as well that you may be following. Well, Brie, until next time, enjoy. Please enjoy. I want you to have lots of fun with your creativity. And everyone else out there. Sorry?
You know I will.
And everyone listening, I want you to have lots of fun with your creativity because, as Brie just said, we know that she will, and you know that I will. We'll be having the most wonderful romantic affair with our creative photography. So, for episode 1, series 1, I'd like to say goodbye.
Bye, everyone.